Hello, beautiful mamas. As a working mom, sometimes I can really feel scattered, unorganized, or simply just rushing from one thing to another and all over the place. Finding time for myself and finding my sanity can almost feel like an impossible dream. Can you relate? Well, this is why I have created my free Mama's Guide to Creating Balance and Harmony as my gift to you. This guide contains my top 10 tips to creating balance and harmony in your life, as well as 3 beautiful trackers to help you get onto your journey in a fun and simple way. I have found by incorporating daily self-care routines and practices in my life for as little as 5 minutes a day, I am feeling more grounded, centered, and calm. By me tapping into my best version through these practices, I am also a better mom, a better partner, and a better colleague. Well, really, just a better human being in all the ways. So, if this sounds like something that you would like to explore, click on the link in the show notes below and download your free guide today. We were all born with the innate power of knowing and wisdom within us. The challenge for many of us is that we were taught to seek answers externally instead of searching from within. And this is the reason why so many of us find ourselves going around in circles, searching for new ways, but could never find the way. The womanly way. It's not the way. It's not my way. But it is a pathway to support all of us returning back to self, reconnect with our inner wisdom through loving ourselves, knowing ourselves, and reconnecting with ourselves.
Tell me and be honest. Tell me should I've known.
So we can start to find our own way as modern day women. Are you interested? Well, sit back, relax, and welcome to this amazing journey. Hello. Welcome to this episode of the Womanly Way podcast. I am your host, Lala Angela Wang. I don't quite know how to describe my feelings and energies and all the things today. It's a mixture of many things. And it's interesting because I knew I was going to record this podcast somewhat like this. But I couldn't quite get my thoughts completely together. Just because I've got a lot to say. So I thought I would name it A Week of Gemini Season and Personal Neptune Square Transit in Review. And I'll tell you guys more about it. But first things first, we started this new tradition, right, on the podcast. I'm pulling a card each week when we record an episode. And so this week, I decided to come back to the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle just because I absolutely love this deck. And the card that I pulled out, so I asked the cards on this topic and on all my experience from this past week. What would you like me to further elaborate on? And what was interesting was I pulled out the card number 3. 3 to me is always a miracle number. It's always a magical number. I know a lot of people go angel numbers like 111s. For me, 3 is when angels are talking to me. It's like I know I am on passion, I'm on purpose, I am on the right path. And the 3 just confirms that I am definitely on the right path. Whenever I live in a place, if it's got a number of 3, then I know that it's what's meant to be. In fact, my current address is actually number 3. We're unit 1, but we're street number 3. So I knew this was right. So the card is called Grandmother of Love, Granddaughter of Life. Just Goosebumps. You are an old soul. Allow those who are wise like you to be your companion as you choose not to believe in the voices of fear. I do want to read out the guidance as well, so this might be a little bit longer. It is not what you have done that matters, it is what you do now. It is not who you believe yourself to have been that matters, it is how you choose to be now. If you have been punishing yourself in any way for a decision you have made in your life or for some perceived failure or other, you are asked to adopt a more soulful perspective. Dispense with regrets, guilt, or shame as soon as you can give yourself permission to do so. Rather, ask yourself what can be learned, what can be forgiven instead, and then move on. Gently, firmly, lovingly, just as the child naturally moves on from infancy to the next stage of life, and the soul naturally grows in wisdom, compassion, and love with the process of life and experiences. Give yourself permission to wobble. A colt who will become a swift and sure-footed stallion will still need to go through having an ungainly wobble until it gets used to its legs. In the bigger scheme of things, those wobbles, as humiliating or challenging as they may seem, in the moment, shall only be a small stance, not even a whole paragraph or chapter, in a greater story of your soul. When you are wobbling, you are growing into something you've not done before. This is brave. Be proud even of your stumbles, for they are part of your success, and you have great potential for success in this lifetime. So go on and grow. Okay, so that's that. Now, let me just go through my week and kind of set the scenes. So, as we all know, in the stars, in the sky, it's Gemini season. Gemini season also means people are a bit more social. So I became a bit more social, not by design, by simply following the seasons. And I think really when you start to have that spiritual connection, you just can't help it. Right? I've decided a couple of years ago that I'm going to embrace more of my spirituality, but also more of astrology. And the more that I really lean into it, it's not that like I read astrology stuff every single day, but I feel into the energy of astrology, right? So then I would act upon my feelings, my intuitions, my guidance. And naturally, it just happened, right? Work is a little bit quiet. So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to reach out to my connections and build more connections because that's part of what I do. That's part of, if you want to build a personal brand, if you want to build a career, really, you also need to build your connections. So this past couple weeks, I've caught up with some of my acquaintances, friends, colleagues, connections of the industries, I shall say. And it's really interesting because if you don't know me all that well, then you probably don't know that when it comes to business and spirituality, I'm a bit of a geek at times. So when I can connect with people who are also into those things, the conversations are super epic. And when I can bump into and connect with those people who has got both of those things, spirituality and business, oh my goodness, the fireworks, I swear you can see it from miles and miles away. So there's a couple of things I want to touch on, right? But I also need to talk about in terms of the astrology side. According to my... Okay, now I have to be really careful now, Melanie, because I can't remember what you told me not to say. I often say astrologer, but apparently it's not a word. Or astrologist. Anyway. So Melanie, who does my annual sun return in the tropical astrology, said to me earlier, actually at the end of last year, that this year I'm hitting my Neptune Square between May and August. And what she said to me was, you're going to be very I'm going to go through like a dreamy, foggy state. And me being me, everything could be an opportunity. I just go, that's an opportunity, that's an opportunity, that's an opportunity. And I might be doing some silly things that I will regret later. I might make some decisions that I might regret later. So I'm very mindful of that as well. And why do I say that? Because I'm currently in the phase of exploring opportunities, right? But also I'm having conversations that's a very 3D. There are very 3D conversations depending on who I speak to about businesses. So essentially, I really felt like I was in a tumble dryer last week, talking to different people about different business ideas. And part of it made me kind of question myself and go, okay, is this the right way of business? Or is it just not my thing? Am I being too overly optimistic, dreamlike, being in Neptune Square? Or is this simply where business are going to? Right? And if I just take the end of week as a summary, I had 3 different business conversations. Actually, no. Starting on Monday last week, I had probably about 5 or 6 different business conversations. And these business conversations are about what I really desire to create for the next phase of my life. I'm really, really manifesting opportunities right now. One is to utilize my additional streams of income to help me get out of corporate, but also to help me set up my own consultancy so I can actually do what I love. Now, in my life, there are 2 camps. There are the spiritual woo-woo camp that believes in manifestation and that sees business from a slightly different perspective, from a more energetic perspective. There are the very practical people who sees business as numbers and figures and historic trends. So I'm getting very mixed reviews right now where my woo-woo camp are like, yes, you can do it. These are the numbers, these are the figures. It's completely doable if you just follow the way, essentially. And then there's there's the business camp that goes, well, here's the business systems and structures and numbers and values that we know. What you're trying to achieve is not achievable. I've even had people asking me, okay, so you still want to stay in construction, you want to specialize in aged care and retirement living, especially help people with the design side of things. You also want to be this coach, mentor to people with the mental health and helping them create a life of their dreams. These 2 don't match. You can't have both. Interesting, isn't it? I've also had people that said to me, it doesn't matter how good a business has started with mission and helping people, they're all going to end up the same. And this is specifically targeting at MLMs. I also have people saying to me, the MLM market is changing and they're a lot more heart-centered And some people really does things just for the purpose of service. And there are heart-centered people. At the same time, in the construction industry, we still continue to have builders going bankrupt, going into liquidation. We have a lot of builders getting out of the residential sector, especially in the strata space. And we have a lot more developers coming into the space and build. Not to be disrespectful, but these builds are now focusing on racing to the bottom. At the same time, we've got an industry where we are going through our industry reforms with all these build qualities. I don't know how that is going to improve. Now we've got more developers and people trying to race to the bottom dollars, right? Time, cost, quality, the magic triangle in any project. When we're trying to raise time and when we're trying to build things quicker, with more, quicker and cheaper so we can have better bottom line or better profit, we can't really have quality as well, can we? So if you really ask me, and if I have to do like an overall review of my week of negativity and positivity towards the construction industry, towards people's aspirations, towards business, even towards my own ultimate life goal, it's a bit of ups and downs and mixed bags. And if I was the old me, or to be honest, the old me wouldn't even be thinking about business innovation and all the things. But I probably would have freaked out and run away. And so I think, really reading between the card that I pulled today and all the lessons I have learned this week, I really think there is a change in business. And this is something that I said to Scott. I think what we are really starting to see is that there are two types of visionaries in business now. There are the ones that are visionaries for business creations. They're super creative in terms of coming up with business ideas. But the bottom line to them, the main focus is the traditional focus in getting into business. Personal gains and profit. Nothing else. And that's the reality, right? That's the reality of why people get into business. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. That's just the reality. At the same time, there's a different type of visionaries that are starting to emerge that I can see from the spiritual world. Spiritual leaders that believe that spiritual people should make money, but we make money from a very different space. From a place of service, from a place of contribution, from a place of legacy, and from a place of heart-centered love and compassion. And that is the kind of visionariness that I am excited about. And I started to really, really see and feel how the old me that wanted to fit into this very masculine industry that's facts and figures and skill set based just simply cannot be anymore. There cannot be that version of me anymore. It's not aligned. It feels out of whack. and it almost feels icky. But does it mean that I am no longer in this industry? Does it mean that I have to move out of this industry? No. To me, it actually means, and when I say this industry, by the way, it's the construction industry. To me, it actually means I need to be in this even more. Can you imagine if we can bring more heart-centeredness into this industry? If we crack this industry's heart right open, how beautiful would it be? And people often ask me, they're like, why do you build retirement homes and aged care centers? Well, it's for that exact reason. To me, it's very poetic, right? It's very poetic. Just imagine that you're creating someone's final home. Someone saved the entire life and now they're into retirement, and this is the last place they will ever live on this planet. This is the last place they will create beautiful memories. This is the last place that can leave a legacy, that they can do all the things that they wanted to do, say their goodbyes perhaps. Wouldn't you want to make sure that that's the most beautiful, luxurious, and opulent place they ever lived in, that gives them the ultimate comfort? So death is no longer a scary thing, and instead it's a celebration of life. Wouldn't that be beautiful? And that really, for me, is the reason why I want to build aged care facilities and retirement homes, or aged care homes. We don't call them facilities anymore. And this is the same reason why I want to do business, the same reason when I want to talk about our mental well-being in construction. Because these things have got a special place in my heart, and I truly believe that's why I am here. That's why I truly believe that's why I have to go through all these various experiences and reach my rock bottom so I can experience it and feel it and then talk about it. And so often, when we are thinking about who we are, what we stand for, we have all these external influences. We're like, well, I can't be like that. And that was me until now, until very recently. And I think, yes, I will always be the odd bot in construction. Yes, I will always be the odd one in business. But hey, there are more of me coming through now. And it's us odd bots that holds hopeless hopes and dreams that perhaps will change the industry. But whether I actually end up changing the industry or not, it really doesn't matter. As long as I'm speaking my truth, I'm speaking what I believe in, it doesn't matter. Because this is what I believe now. If we can continue to hold our truth, if we can continue to hold our faith, it becomes a beacon, it becomes a light. And that light is going to attract more people who are like that, more people who are attracted to it. And I don't know. I don't know what the end situation would be. I don't know what the end goal is. I don't even know if I will change the industry. But this is what I know. I know I would be happy. I would be content. I know I would, say if tomorrow is my last day on this planet, I would know that I died fighting for my dreams. And I know my friend Melanie is going to say this is such a Neptune Square kind of thing, because it's all about dreams, it's all about ideals, it's all about explorations. And perhaps like this episode of the podcast doesn't make sense to anybody at all. But really, what I really want to say to you is what the card is saying is that we all have inner wisdoms. We all have our inner wisdoms. And you all have access to your inner knowledge, to your gifts. And really, I truly believe in this lifetime, our job is number one, to reconnect with ourselves and tap into our gifts. And number two, once we discover that, to truly step into who we are, our uniqueness in this world, speak our truth, back ourselves. And that's perhaps is one thing that I haven't really fully stepped into until really recently, because I've been told by multiple people recently, you need to fucking back yourself. And here I am backing myself, right? And so often I see people give up on their dreams and hopes and all the things. And really the reason that the only reason, if we really have to drill down to the details, I just said that they're not backing themselves. They listen to what other people say. They listen to all the other chatters around them. And as soon as they wobble, they give up. That used to be me. Not anymore. I've decided that I am going to back myself 100%. Hence, I'm backing myself with all my, I don't know, waffles in this podcast. But I think there is a reason, right? And I truly trust the reason for me to speak about all of these is a divine reason, divinely planned, and it's just all meant to be. So if you've got big dreams, if you feel like a bit of an oddball in whatever industry you're in or whatever environment that you're in, and if you've had dreams and hopes and things that you wanted to achieve for so long and you just never have been able to achieve them, perhaps this is the message for you. And the message is really simple. Make it your job to understand what you're here for, what you stand for, who are you, what's your mission, what's your vision, what's your purpose, and just go after them. There's no right or wrong. There's only you who's the judgment of whether you're successful or not. Oh yeah, and the other thing is know what success means to you. What does success look like to you? Because so many people don't, and they just follow other people's success blueprint, and no wonder they're never happy or satisfied because they don't even know where they're going to, right? So know your destination, know where you're going to, and back yourself. Know that you're always going to be different in one way or another. Not everybody's going to be exactly like you. Find your tribe and back yourself. Back yourself, back yourself, back yourself, and back yourself. So that's my message for today on a Sunday night. Tomorrow is actually a public holiday right here in Australia. So I will be enjoying some greater companies, enjoying the rest of my Gemini season. and talk to more business people about my dreams and hopes and desires. Have a lovely day, afternoon, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. And may all of your dreams and desires come true. Love you all so, so, so much. I will see you next time. Bye.